That's fair.
Yeah.
It's like it makes sense. It's that like after you play like a bunch of games and then it's like, oh, it feels like I'm not going anywhere. What do I need to do differently, right? I think
Hmm.
everyone's been there at some point or another. First thing is always, well, how does the lane look, right? What do you want to do in lane? How do you win lane? I should say, that's always the first question.
Hmm.
So how do you win this lane?
Take tower.
Well, how is it? Okay, so say you're playing against Double Lift and who's the support right now? Ole, right? Um,
Mm.
how would you win lane? You're gonna say you're just gonna take their tower,
Probably try and get a kill on them.
but how does that work, right? How do you get a kill?
Wait for a gank, most likely. Wait for them to miss position.
Right, but we're talking about Double Lift and Ole, right? Like, what's
Yeah.
more likely? You're gonna miss position or they're gonna miss position, and then it's like, oh, what exactly is mispositioning, right?
Hmm.
So, say no free kills are given up. How do you know who won lane?
Um, Farm.
Right, CS is a factor, right? If you're playing two scaling 80 carries and one 80 carries 20 CS up on the other dude, that's like really good, right?
Yeah.
You're like you one lane. What if you have like Caitlyn versus Vayne, right? You guys have Vayne and you guys are down 20 CS. Is that bad necessarily?
Um, if we have who?
If you have Vayne against like
Oh,
a Caitlyn or
no, no.
something, right? Not necessarily bad because you're scaling, right? You're a
Hmm.
scaling champion. So the first question you always need to ask yourself is, what do you want to get out of this lane phase, right? Um, and it's not like, oh, we want to get kills or we want to get tower. You want to get an advantage or you want to accelerate. You want to play along your win condition, right? So what is Zyra Khan's win condition and what is Lucian Tariq's win condition? Like first question is like who scales better, right? So who
Mm,
scales better?
I believe they have a better team fight with Tarek Pollution.
Really interesting. That is true. I have not seen enough Lucian, but I always thought that Lucian was considered early mid game oriented, and then late game maybe falling off a little, right? And he's definitely hard to play. Um, and then Zaya's also strong early mid, but her late game is still disgusting, right? With
Yeah.
her W on. So I would say that you guys have the outscale potential.
Hmm.
I would say. So if you look at it that way, you can say something like, "Oh, we are fine, going even in this lane, even going even or slightly losing or whatever. If you can outscale, right, that could be part of your plan. Um, and then in lane, say once you've like figured all that out, how exactly do you get to the point where you go even, right? Um, and I think you like even if we may not be able to say it, right? It's definitely clear that you know how to play this lane, right? You just hit this guy, you press
Hmm.
W, you win. Zyra Khan. How else do you guys win besides like if he's level 2, can you do that? For example,
Nah.
right? Why is that?
He'll just dash it.
Right, exactly. So when do you ever get to use your knockup?
Level 1 mainly.
Well, we'll say
Or
after level 1. When is a good time to use your knockup?
after dash.
Right. So, or maybe to counter stun, right? You can do it while you're getting stunned, and it'll go through. I think. But yeah, you have to figure out how exactly you want to play the lane out. That's always the first thing, right?
Hmm.
And the reason why we have to talk about this is because if you play against a lane that doesn't know how they want to win, you're always gonna win. Also, don't let this guy do that right here, right?
Is it worth it to delay your back that much to keep the
Of
lane?
course. Like, what are you buying? What are you buying on his back? Right?
I mean, I don't know what Zaya gets.
She's not buying anything. She's buying like a longsword, and then you're not buying anything, right? You guys are just sure you guys got to kill and assist, but he's freezing the whole wave, right? Don't let him get away with shit like this because if he actually pulls this off, don't you guys lose minions, right? What's the fallout for this if he pulls this off, which he's actually somehow doing?
Freezes the lane.
Right. He actually denied you guys 7 minions right there, right? All these minions are gonna die for no reason. You guys lost 7 minions, even though you could have not lost 7 minions, if that makes any sense. If you just push it into tower or just stayed in lane, right? So every time you base, you need to have a significant reason. Honestly, getting 2 long swords is pretty good, but at the very least, don't let them do stuff like that, because you're just like losing minions for no reason, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you can prevent it, don't do that. But that was a really strong level 1, right? That was pretty much perfect. The best outcome you could get is just kill them level 1. But how else would you win this lane? In terms of if you can't do the level 1 stuff, right? What do you want to do in this lane, ideally speaking?
Farm it out, wait for a gank.
So it seems like there's a lot of focus on waiting for jungler or waiting for someone else to win your lane, right? But in solo queue, how often can you expect your team to win you your lane, right? That doesn't really make any sense, because you're not gonna have the same jungler every game, right?
Yeah.
So how can you expect to have your jungler just win the, like, you have a fucking Tom Kench. How's he gonna win this lane for you, right? What if you have an autofill jungler, right? Are you gonna say this game's over?
No.
Right. So how do you gain advantages in lane? I guess the better question is, how do you gain advantages in lane that isn't just waiting for your jungler?
Push them into an ICS. Try and get a farm advantage.
Okay, you can push them in and try and get a CS advantage, right? What else can you do after you push them in?
Try and get a vision on their jungle.
Right. So these are ways to generate advantages that aren't just like free random kills, right? Is pushing and being able to do something off that, right? So what did this Aurelion Soul do? He pushed mid and then he fucking run bot, right? That's an extreme example, because it's only Aurelion Soul can really do that at level 4. But in your case, it'd be like, oh, we can push and harass on their tower. We can push and hit the tower, right? You can threaten the tower. You can push and get vision, like you said. You can push and roam for your team, right? So these are all advantages you can get while pushing, right? These are advantages you can get literally every game, right? Doesn't matter champion matchup. Doesn't matter like if you have a weird game or not, right? It could be Yasuo, Pantheon bot lane. The same strategy is applicable, right? You still get advantages the same way. And then when can you not push?
I don't know where the jungler is.
That's not necessarily true, right? What if you're pushing and you have flash up, and then jungler comes out, he's Kha'Zix, he ganks you guys flash out. Is that good or bad?
It's not good.
Why not? Why is it bad?
Burnt flash.
Right. Okay, so you guys lost flash. What did they lose?
Nothing.
They lost nothing? Is there anything your team could have done while Kha'Zix is ganking?
Counter.
Okay, right. He can counter, right? Counter gank. So but that didn't happen in this example, right? He can invade, right? Exactly what you said. What if Kha'Zix goes for a gank at level 2 and you guys lose flash and then his whole topside jungle is gone? Is that good or bad?
It's good for our jungler.
Right. But you're saying it's not good for you yourself, right?
Yeah.
So one of the first things, well, not one of the first things, one of the most important things to figure out in solo queue is that even though your lane may be quote unquote losing, your team is massively winning. If they do something like this and you live here, what happens?
Soul loses out on farm.
How much farm?
Hopefully wave, maybe wave and a half.
Exactly, a wave, right? And if you think about it, if he does this every time, he loses a wave and he loses XP. Then all of a sudden, Varus hits 6 first. They make a gank mid. Aurelion Soul dies. They roam bot. Everyone wins, right? Jungle wins, mid wins, bot wins, right? So there's kind of fallout that you don't see for being able to draw pressure, for example, in ganks, right? So if it works, that's like not good, right? If they gank and you die, that's like considered not good, right?
Yeah.
But I think one thing to keep in mind is that, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing if they gank you and you live, right? That's actually considered good because you're drawing pressure. As long as your team can do something, It's considered good. Is it considered good if your jungler is dead?
No.
Why is that?
Can't use that pressure anywhere.
Exactly. You drew pressure, but your team is useless. Can't do anything. He's dead. He literally couldn't do anything. So you drawing pressure didn't mean anything because your team still can't do anything, right? So here's a classic example. How many times have you seen a top laner split and die for free? And he said, "Why aren't you guys doing anything?" Right? How many times have you seen that? I've seen that. I've seen that a million times, right?
Yeah.
It's because the pressure they're drawing he's not, your team is not in a position to do something when he's doing that pressure, when he's drawing that pressure. Exactly. So this is the exact same concept, right? But say top laner does draw pressure and you guys are near Baron. What happens? You guys get a free Baron, right? So big difference. Same thing in lane. It's the exact same concept in lane, right? Is drawing this idea of drawing pressure, right? So even though you guys had a really strong early game, are you guys winning or losing now?
Losing.
Right, you're losing because we died twice to gank, and even though your Xayah got a kill on Taric the first time it happened, this is Relenso is out of control now, right? So in a gank, usually if you trade kills, that's very good because they need the gank to work for free, or they need like a scaling champion to get the kills, or like maybe the support got the kills, right? These are all things that can make a difference in whether or not the gank was good, right? So instead of what we did earlier, is there anything we could have done differently from here?
Just not gone to the river bush because looking back, I now see we had vision on him.
So who could be in here? Who could be in that bush right now?
Taric.
Right? Okay, Taric. What else? Who else?
I mean, Pantheon.
Pantheon and who else?
Lucian.
All right. So how do you stop them from just sitting in the bush? Because you don't know where they are, right? So they could be anywhere on the map theoretically. How do you make them show up on the map so that you can go word?
Wait for pressure somewhere else.
Or is there any way to generate pressure in your lane?
Shove it.
Right. Exactly. If you push this wave and they sit in this bush, what happens?
Then they miss farm.
They miss 7. This is 6 minions. This is 6 minions, right? There's 6 minions. And then you do that again and again and again. All of a sudden, your AD carry is fucking 50 farm on the other dude, right? So what are they going to be forced to do once you push this in?
Standard tower.
They're going to have to go catch the wave, right?
Yeah.
They're either going to have to make this shit happen right now, make this play happen now, or they're going to go catch the wave, right? And then once they catch the wave, that's when you know you can go ward, right? Because you died to Lucian, Taric, Pantheon in this bush, but if it's just Pantheon, you don't die. And if you see Pantheon and he goes for you and you don't die, we already know that's a good thing, right? Because getting ganked and getting away with it is drawing pressure. That's good, right? So here, I think if you ever get caught by stuff like this, the solution is push first and wait, right? Push and then wait, right? If they never show on the tower, you never go face check, right? Unless you can like hawk shot or something. Unless you throw stuff in the bush. Yeah, there's literally no way out for you, right? There's just nothing you could do at this point. From this point, maybe you could W away. I don't know. Oh yeah, you could probably W away.
Yeah,
that's another thing you do. But instead of going for him, if you know that drawing pressure is a good thing, then you would have known that, oh, we just need to get out, right? So push first. If you ever don't know what to do, or it's like, oh, how do I generate advantages, or how do I create pressure, you need to push first before you do something, right? Warding, this is like something really important for the support to know, because it's very often in solo queue where they will do something like that even if the lane is not pushed, right? Yeah, like how many times have you seen people like go ward before pushing and they get caught by the jungler, right? It's like a Kha'Zix sitting in this tri bush, right? It happens a lot. It happens quite frequently. So that's the reason you need to push first before you do something. If you have 2 people check the push against the jungler, and you see the enemy bot lane's at their tower, then you're like, oh, then this guy can't kill us, right? And then we win because we're drawing jungle pressure. He can't do anything. And then it's like, oh, if these guys leave their tower, you know the jungler is probably here, right? And you're like, oh, we just back off and let the minions die to the tower. So these are kind of things that we need to keep in mind as we lane, right? Another thing here, is this trade good or bad?
It's not good
Why is that?
because they got more HP on my AD.
Right. The HP on your AD carry generally matters more than the support, right?
Yeah.
Due to a mix of things like potions and being able to pressure, whatever. Basically, your AD carry is more important. Your AD carry HP is more important, right? So how do you prevent stuff like this from happening?
Don't go for it at all, or wait for Lucian to dash in.
Exactly.
Like you did
See,
right
you already know the answer, right? Upon watching the video, we already know. So in the laning phase, right, in the champion select screen, we would say to ourselves, "Oh, this is a 2v2 lane. Zyrakan's really strong. Lucian and Taric are not that bad either. But where do our advantages lie, and where do their advantages lie? Oh, Taric can stun and sustain. Our sustain is kind of conditional, so don't take trades, right? And then Taric goes in, we just get Lucian and we win 100%, right? So you just wait till Lucian dashes and you win. You hit Taric, Lucian dashes, you win, right? So that's kind of what you are looking for in this lane. Both sides are kind of all in. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah.
So if you had known that you never want to go on Taric unless you're gonna kill him, you wouldn't have gone in. You wouldn't have gone in there, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of the stuff we have to vocalize during champ select or before the laning starts, so we can prevent any kind of mistakes like that, right? Because now it's like, oh, they're gonna push you in and you can't do anything about it since you have no HP. That's the fallout for these kinds of mistakes. And as a support, it's like kind of your job to look for this, right? So if he can dash it, you don't go in, right? If he can dash it, you don't go in, unless you can like kill him some other way or something. I don't know. But yeah, if you're gonna go on the route, you had to go as he got rooted.
Yeah.
So you know that
That'd
that's just the mechanics thing.
Yeah.
You don't really need to worry about that. That was really good luck, right? Because he was gonna die if he got hit. But yeah, now we're in trouble, right? This is kind of awkward. There's actually maybe dive potential. Not really. We saw Pantheon top, but every time someone makes a mistake like that, it could be not just you. It could be like your AD carry makes a mistake. You make a mistake. Every time someone makes a mistake, you're losing pressure, right? This could be like if you were both low HP, it could be very scary against the Aurelion Soul Pantheon dive, for example, which is probably what we're gonna see this game. Yeah, we already saw Aurelion Soul come bot twice, so that's like super awkward. But yeah. So now that we're in this position, what is your like mindset here? What are you thinking?
Just collect waves under tower until Zai can get a buy.
Why do we need Zaya to get a buy?
So we can 2v2 on our 6.
So wait, why does Zaya need a buy to be able to do that? 2v2 at 6.
Well, right now they have the HP advantage.
So how do you? Is there any way to get back that HP advantage?
Sustain back.
Right, you just did it right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many times can you do that? You just do it on cooldown.
Yeah.
And then you guys don't necessarily need a back. Basically, like backing is like is super important to figure out, because if you back it incorrect times, it'll make your team unable to do something, right? Okay, so let's go back to our example of jungler being dead, you get ganked, and then the pressure was wasted because your jungler was dead, right? Okay, what if your jungler based? Same or no?
If we got ganked and our jungler backed,
Yeah, your jungler's in the base, you guys got ganked. Is that is that worse, or is that better, or is that the same as your jungler being on the map?
they could most likely just get a free objective.
Right. So it's like your jungler is not in position to do something, right?
Yeah.
So you guys backing, bot lane backing is the same thing for your jungler. Your jungler cannot do anything while you guys base, right? So if you base, better be for a good reason, right? Better because you have no HP, you have really good buy, you have a you can push them in and base, right? You have to have a reason to base though, right? And you guys have enough HP to say, oh, we don't need a base now, right? So if you're like, oh, we need a base because she's low HP, you first ask yourself, you have sustain. The answer is yeah, you have sustain. So you walk up to Taric, you Q him in the face, and you jump back to Zaya, right? Because that's really good. That's really good sustain for Zaya. So that's the kind of idea you should be having in your head if you're trying to figure out, how do I get this HP advantage back? If there's no way to get it back, then maybe you say we don't want to fight, and then we wanna find a base somehow, right? That would be a reason to base, is if you have no HP. Okay, this is really awkward. Really nice knockup. You guys are getting away from this, I'm pretty sure. Oh, you need a flash.
Yeah,
Okay,
I held on
that's
to
awkward.
it too long.
Oh no, that's tragic. All right, so let's watch this. So this was really good. Good example of drawing pressure, except that we kind of died here, right? This is really good. W. You just want to get rid of the Pantheon knockup. Wait, what happened to your E earlier? Okay, you dash back to her. I think it was super unfortunate that no one died here. And I wouldn't really blame you for how this went, right? Because you played that really well, actually. It's just that, sure, you missed the flash. And that could have made a difference. But I think you had the right idea, right? Would you agree with me?
Yeah.
You had the right idea here. And even though it may seem really bad, obviously it's not the best, your team is doing something top. This is the example of your team being able to do something if you drop pressure. Obviously your Tom Kenji is going to die or something stupid like that, but that the idea is there, right? It is the right idea. And how stupid is the Kali getting kills?
Pretty good.
All right, that's pretty good because that champion's stupid. It's cancer to everyone who doesn't play a Kali. I died of that shit so many times, it's not even funny. But that's like a clear example of what happens when you draw pressure. Like, say for example, what happened? Like, if you guys were able to avoid that gank, you would have gotten that top kill for free. Kali would have gotten a kill. You guys would be able to keep your tower. They got nothing. Varus got 6 minions mid. Okay, so top jungle mid 1, and then you guys no change bot lane because you're not in a CS deficit or anything, right? So 3 lanes winning for 1 lane, maybe slightly losing. That sounds like a really good deal to me, right?
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of how we want to look at the laning phase in the game in general, right? It's a team game. Can't win by ourselves, right? So what's going on here? Interesting. All right, so once this is also part of your job as well as the AD carry's job, right? So AD carry needs to know where to go, right? So what is the support's job in this scenario?
Right now, is probably trying to get vision to make sure they're not trying to cheese or something.
What do you mean by cheese?
Like sit and try, wait
And
for
then-
Zaya.
Okay, right. So you need a ward to protect your AD carry as she farms or pushes out, right? And then vision is always good because you need to see if they're on the objective or not, right? So what is the first thing you do when you need to get vision?
Sightstone?
You need to push out. That's the first thing. Always push out. Because wow, that was a really good setup. But I think you guys could have pushed out on another wave here, right? Because what happens if they don't fall for that? You guys are losing minions. You need to push out past the river if possible, right? I think it's possible, right? Lucian Tarek is not that scary against Zaya Rakan. If they send this tri-bush, Tom Kemp's gonna ult in, everyone's happy, right? But this was a really good setup, right? This was a really good catch, all things considered. Really good catch. The only problem is if this doesn't work, right? But
Yeah.
I think it was a really good find on you for sure. Really good setup, no complaints here. Okay, now you get a kill. What next?
Push mid.
And then what?
Take tower.
Okay, what if they show up, right? What if Pantheon ults? Right?
Mm,
It's not as simple as taking tower, right?
just kill him. It's 3v1. We have number advantage.
Well, how's it 3v1? Aren't 4 people missing on the map?
Oh, well, yeah.
Right. So not actually 3v1. It's like this is gonna be 4v4, right? Unless your Kali has TP or something. Like, look at this. You guys are gonna get engaged on, right? And if they had played this any better, this is good. Oh, it's actually being disaster right now, right? If they play this any better, I think you guys would have been fucked, right? So it's not as simple as taking tower per se, right? What are the things we talked about earlier when you said after you push, you can do these things? What are these things? What are your options after pushing?
Vision.
Okay, yep, vision.
Um,
Let's go through it one by one. Okay, how do you get vision in this scenario? You push and then what?
push in and then get vision.
All right, but where exactly?
Probably just mid-side bushes.
All right, I agree. Those are pretty nice, like here, right over here, near the dragon area, right? That's really good vision, right? Because if they try and face check, you're gonna Rakan the shit out of them. What else can you get?
Get raptors. We can get black.
Right. That's good. You can invade and deny jungle camps. That's always viable. What else can you get?
Dragon, possibly.
Right, I would agree. You can get dragon right now. And that there's nothing they can do. They're gonna Pantheon ult, and then he jumps on someone, time catch eats them, you win, right? So dragon's really good here, right? What else can you get?
I don't know. I don't think we're really in a position to get Herald here.
I think it's possible, but we'll throw that under the category of getting objectives, right? So you said getting vision, getting objectives, taking jungle camps, which is basically like roaming into the jungle, and we missed an option that we're doing right now, right? What are we doing right now?
Taking tower.
Tower damage. We should think of it as tower pressure instead of taking tower, right? Why do I say that?
Because it's not 100%.
Right, it's not 100% certain that you can take it. Like, how many times have you seen someone tunnel vision on this tower and then everyone just fucking dies and then they get banned, right? That happens a lot, right? I would say that happens a lot. So this is how you prevent that kind of scenario from happening. Is you tell yourself we're gonna look to do damage on the tower, right? So would you agree that there are like a ton of different options we could do?
Yeah.
Based on what we just said. So the first thing is we need to ask yourself what are all the options. The second thing we ask yourself is which one is the best one. So you guys said tower damage is the best, right? And then the third question is how do they stop us, right? So if Aurelion Sol was alive, would you guys do this tower?
Nah, you could just clear it.
Right. How do they stop us? They clear it, right?
Yeah.
It could be Anivia, it could be whatever. It doesn't matter. So in this case, if you wanted to get tower damage, you should ask yourself, how do they stop you? So how do they stop you?
To kill us?
But how? How? Like they're gonna engage, right? They're gonna try and engage, but how exactly are they gonna engage? Okay, Pantheon ult. So what do you do in the event that Pantheon ults?
Just run away.
How do you run away from him just Wing someone, right? Like, what if he W's you? You guys are running away, he W's you, you get Tarek stun and then dead, right? Do we have an answer to that?
We have no, not really.
Right, so we need an answer to their engage, right? The only reason you guys got away with this is because they fucking, I don't know what they were doing, but they like ate 1,000 damage for no reason before coming in. And it was still really close for no reason, right? So we need to ask yourself, what's the plan for a Pantheon engage, right? You should say something like, oh, Zaya's gonna ulti, Pantheon stun, and then I'm gonna knock out Pantheon, right? Like before in bot, when Pantheon was ganking, you knocked out Pantheon when he was getting in stun rage. That's like, this could be a similar concept, right? So you would know not to knock up Tarek, right? Because we didn't say that beforehand, right? What does knocking up Tarek do?
Keeps him off Zaya, but
well, what is he gonna do? He's gonna hit her?
Yeah.
Right, but that's like 50 damage, right? It doesn't really do anything. What's more important, like knocking up Pantheon Teemo Lucian or knocking up a Tarek who already used stun, right? That's the kind of what's better in terms of value.
Definitely the Teemo.
Right, that there was really good because you can kill him, right? The difference is that you have pressure on these champions, right? It's like, oh, if you okay, here's a better example. What if an ally used combo? Ally has no cooldowns. He's just walking around with his ultimate on. Do you knock him up?
He's no.
Right, because it doesn't do anything, right? It's just like we knock him up, we do 10 damage. It was not worth your knock up, right? That's really the question we have to ask ourselves here. Is it worth your abilities, right? And the way you figure that out is what was the impact, right? What was your impact on this this Tarek knockup? It's just like, oh, it didn't really do much. And then what about what was the impact we could have had? Could have knocked out Pantheon after he flashed in, or could have knocked out Teemo, or could have knocked out Lucian after he dashed, right? We said after Lucian dashes, right? Is the best time to do it, right? He would have to flash out or something. That's kind of, you need to basically get the most value you can out of your abilities, right? Like that was really fucking good, right? So we know your mechanics are not in question. Like you've hit all the knockups that you wanted to hit, right? You got the Pantheon down bot, you got the Target twice here. You know that you can hit these targets like really well, right? It's very obvious. The question is, we need to the problem is, I should say, is that we need to figure out what is the best way to use it, right? If we know you can hit this, why not use it on an AD carry, right? Or Aurelion Soul, right? So you need to basically get more value out of your abilities. But it's like, sure, this went really well, but did you know that was gonna happen when you pushed mid?
No.
So what happened? So if this plays out 100 times, how many times do you win the fight? It's like, we don't know, right? In order to win, right, the kind of issue we talked about earlier was not being able to climb despite a bunch of games. Is this, we need to be able to win fights consistently, like every time, right? It's not just like sometimes win fights, sometimes not win fights. It has to be every time you touch someone, they're gonna die, right? Or every time you touch someone, they're gonna lose an advantage, right? You're gonna get a massive advantage. Otherwise, we're like not quote unquote carrying the game, right? We got how do challenger players get like a 36-0 win rate, right? Doing some bronze to challenger stream or whatever, right? That's like everything they do is consistent, right? So let's back it up here. So what is the plan now?
Push this in. Push this in. I assume Eric's probably top side with Lucian.
Why do we want to go bot side? We need to have a reason for everything we do, right? So why do we go bot side?
Collect the wave.
Okay, right. Collecting wave for the AD carry is very good. Any other reasons?
Pressure.
So pressure the bot tower, right? Specifically. Yeah. And then what are we losing if we do this? If anything, are we losing anything if we do this?
Loss. Top side pressure.
Perfect. That's exactly the correct answer, right? So they're gonna gank Akali, or they're gonna take Rift Herald, right? And you guys can't stop them, right? This is gonna be a fact, right? Because it's 4v3 up there, and there's nothing you can do, right? And then so the question is, why are you with Xayah? And there's a reason to be with her, but why are you with her?
XP.
Have you ever heard the idea that the support should never be the same level as the AD carry?
Yeah.
Right. You always want to be doing something, and that's not like sitting in the lane, right? So for example, if you saw Tarek sitting on top of Lucian, what can you guys do?
If we see him top right now?
Yeah, if you see him top, what can you do?
Threaten a kill on Teemo.
Right, exactly. You can just sit but Teemo has no idea where you are. No one on the team knows where you are. So Zai's gonna push. Teemo can't go in because he's like, oh shit, Rakan's in the fog of war, right? And then Akali's gonna be they can't go on Akali because Rakan could be under tower, right? So they dive Akali and then you come out and then they lose, right? So showing up on the map and like trying to like get XP for no reason will make you guys lose pressure, right? You'll be seen on the map. You're just like not doing anything with your time, right? That's a general concept we should definitely think about, is doing something with your time, right? What are you doing with your time here?
Just getting XP. That's not very useful.
I would say you're like trying to pressure the tower, right? Making sure Xayah doesn't like get killed by Teemo. But is there anything else you could be doing better? Is really the question we should be asking ourselves.
Not trying to make a play happen elsewhere.
Right. So because we know we can't get this tower. How do we know?
It's full HP, I believe.
Well, the the question behind getting a tower is not necessarily how much HP. Okay, let's say tower pressure, not getting the tower. How do we know we can't hit the tower?
He can clear the wave.
Teemo can't clear the wave, right? Maybe you can like throw a shroom, but that's not really the same thing as a Nivea, right? Yeah. What can Teemo do to stop you guys?
Fight us.
Right. How specifically? Right. So when we talked about you guys pushing mid, you said specifically Pantheon ult. How does Teemo stop you guys? How does he fight you guys?
We dive him.
No, how does he fight you guys? Not you guys fight him, right? How does he stop you from hitting the tower?
He just goes on us.
Right. He blinds Xayah. He literally can't hit the tower, right? So how do you stop him from doing that? You said dive, right? Okay, can you dive Teemo?
Yeah.
I'll say that was really good, right? So you can dive Teemo. Then when we get to this point right here, we should know we go in, right?
Yeah, no blind.
So that was good. That was good, right? So I didn't know the answer to your question. You obviously did, since you play this champion all the time. Then that's how you can kind of figure out if you can hit this tower or not, right? But did you know you were gonna dive before coming to this lane?
Well, they showed 4 top, so.
Right, but what if this was like a Malphite bot, right? It wouldn't like not be the same, for example? Yeah. Right, so we always have to think about how we can get shit done, basically. How do we get stuff done, man? You want to win games, right? How do you get stuff done? That's positive influence on your team. Like doing that was really good. You got your AD carry super strong. But you need to be able to recognize that and do it every time, if that makes any sense, right? It has to be consistent. You always have to know like why you're going where, right? So if we're at this situation, actually no, never mind. I think this is really good. And you guys even got out, so that was really funny. But what are you guys looking for now?
Mid tower.
And was there any other lane you could have gone besides bot?
Top.
Before, yeah. Why top?
Just to pressure Rift Herald.
Right. The Rift Herald is alive, right? And Dragon is already down. You guys I think you guys got it. I'm not sure, but yeah, you guys did get it. So there's no Dragon to contest in the bot side. So my initial reaction was you guys wanted to go top, or you wanted to go top specifically in that scenario, but everything worked out in the end. So being able to be near the objectives is really important for the support, right? Because you're the one with engage tools and utility. So it's kind of your job to be in those areas, right? How about here? What can we be doing here? This is really good, clearing vision. But what else are we looking for here?
The pick maybe.
Pick on who and how?
Their jungler maybe.
Pantheon. Okay, you guys are looking for Pantheon. But like where do you set up to get that, right? It's like it doesn't really make sense, right? Are you waiting for it to run through the jungle, or what's the goal here, right? How do you gain an advantage is the question I'm really asking.
Try and take mid tower.
Okay, good. Sieging is a viable option, right? But the really important thing to realize here is push first to do something, right? Push first to gain an advantage, right? So you guys want to push first. So Varus is gonna push mid. How do they stop him?
Pantheon ult.
Okay, how do you save Varus?
W.
Right. So you're gonna the instant that Varus is getting engaged on, you're gonna go in and save him, right? So we're not in position to save him. Is kind of the issue here, right? So we need to ask yourselves, what are we trying to accomplish here? So you guys are trying to siege mid, if that's what you're saying. So you need to push. Varus is going to press Q, poke them. He's going to do that 1,000 times, and you're going to get the tower, right? So how do you save him? You need to be within dash distance, right? E distance, whatever it is. So it's like, why do we go into this section of the map, right? We need to ask ourselves, what are we trying to do here? The best way to the cookie cutter basic strategy is be on the side where the objective is, right? So if this is Infernal, perfect, right? You want to put wards down, control this side of the map, good. But there's nothing here, right?
Yeah.
So we need to be at the Rift Herald, right? We need to be in a position to save our team, right? And you already knew what your team wanted to do. You wanted to siege, right? You're like, oh, Varus is gonna do his thing. So you need to protect him while he does that, right? Because now they can just Rift Herald. Or they're just gonna get mid, right? There's nothing you can do. Everyone has to leave. They're gonna get 2 towers mid. You guys can't do anything. And then they're gonna go Rift Herald. You guys can't do anything, right? So even though it was not your mistake, you did not get caught, right? You could have prevented it though, as a support. Right, so that's the kind of things we should look out for is how do we save our teammates from doing stupid shit, right? And that's kind of the support's job. It's how do we save our team, or how do we engage, right? So how do you engage? Can't engage. How do you save your team? Team's already dead, right? So we need to be there before it happens. Okay, this is awkward. Why do we say this is awkward?
Because nobody is there to follow it up.
All right, and if you had landed it, would have it done anything?
Nah, not really.
And could they have killed you here?
Yeah.
Right. So every time we use an ability, not just the support, right? Is the jungler, AD carry, whatever. You need to have a very good reason to do so, right? It has to have high value is kind of the concept. And we talked about value earlier, right? We're like, getting a knockup on Lucian when your Xayah can hit him, very good value. Getting a knockup on Pantheon when he's going for your AD carry, very good value, right? Going ulting early in Soul from this bush into mid lane, that was insane value. He's dead. You got insane. Like that is an example of you carrying the game by yourself, literally no one else. You put a pink ward down, you kill the mid laner by yourself, and your team used that to gain an advantage, right? That's 100% you, right? So we can, if we use our abilities without being able to do that, we're kind of losing the opportunity to do so when they come out, right? So if you do that, then they know they don't have to be afraid of any kind of knockup, right? So if you ever use an ability, it has to be for a good reason, right? And then this shit's going on here. Same thing here, except Tom Kench is there to save him. Maybe. I think that's going really poorly. But oh, you can get this guy, right? That was really good. This is really, I don't know what he's doing. He's AFK, but oh my. All right, nice. Okay, good stuff. So after something happens, what do you want to do is really the question, is the new question. So what do you want to do after you get a pick like this?
Probably just shove it in, try and get tower damage. We don't have a jungler mid up, so we can't
really do much, right?
Yeah.
Because your team is dead, right? So you are correct. You're like, oh, generally speaking, we would want to get tower damage or get vision or something. But in this case, since our team is dead, we want to play it safe, right? So what other options do you have that's not hit this tower?
Just back.
All right, because you guys are gonna fucking die here, right? If you guys aren't careful. Or you have to like go for some outplay. Or maybe you say this tower is worth the death, right? Oh my god. Okay, nice. This guy jumped in. It was close. And you can say maybe the tower is worth your guys' death. I don't know. It was really close. So I think someone messed up here. Who messed up here? Xayah messed up here, right? That's not really your fault, but if you say the tower is worth your death, then yeah, go for it. But you have to know that they're coming, right? I think you knew they were coming, right? I think.
Yeah, that's why I started the back.
Right, then that's
Hopefully
good. Right?
just
You're like,
out.
oh, you say this is worth or whatever. Is this worth? I would say it's pretty worth. I would say. Is it pretty worth? I think it's borderline in this case. So don't worry about that then. But I think the bigger issue was in the mid game. You have to be near the Rift Herald side, right? Or you have to be within dash distance to save your mid laner, or you have to be doing something productive with your time, right? So going up top, getting early in soul, productive. Going bot, diving Teemo, productive. But everything you do needs to be productive, right? Like we wasted too much time in this bot side river when Dragon wasn't up, so it wasn't productive, and then your team got engaged on. Basically, it's like you know how to play support is very clear, right? And you know how to play Rakan, right? That's also very clear. Now you have to play kind of clean in that everything you do is helping your team, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, by the way? I feel like I've been talking for talking to myself a lot. Talking too much. Not to myself, but talking too much.
Well, the main reason I prioritize, at least to me, getting that top tower was just getting the final outer in the side lanes, and the mid lane tower was already pretty low, so we could just walk up and hit it while we have side pressure.
So you put an emphasis on outer towers, is what you're saying, right? Because they're easy to get objectives, kind of, in a way.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, okay. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. That's the kind of a good way to look at it, right? You're always trying to do something, which is get these objectives. So I think that's a fine way of thinking about it. But also beware of like like how do they stop you going for these towers, right? Because it doesn't seem like we're doing that, right? We're not really figuring out how they stop us, right? Like with the mid push and the trying to get the bot tower and stuff. I don't know what's going on here. How did this happen? But I think that is a good way to think of it in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happened here? Can you talk to me about this?
Face check.
It wasn't necessarily the end of the world, I would say. It's pretty close. But is there anything we could have done better, right? Is there anything we should have done?
Maybe been more wary since they're all missing.
Like, what's the plan? Okay, that's a good question. What is the plan here?
Get vision in our jungle.
Okay. You guys want to ward it up so you can get the red, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan. Okay, how do you ward it up? You put the ward in the bush, right?
Yeah.
So how come we didn't put the word in the bush yet? It wasn't part of the plan, right? So when you have a plan, it's very easy for players to get caught up in something crazy, right? So if you say, "Oh, my plan is to put a word in this bush," right? And then you see this silhouette, and then you're like, "Oh, brain fart! What are we doing now?" We need to stick to the plan unless something important happens, right? Because you're expecting them to be here, right? I hope, maybe. Are you expecting? Were you expecting them to be here?
No, not really.
Oh, that's awkward. All right, so if they're missing, right, you should assume that they're anywhere, right? I think you guys are fucking pinging this shit too. Look at this. You guys are like, yo, they're in here. Is there anything you could have done?
Just throwing a ward in there sooner, or just giving up the red.
Right. Okay. So can give up the red, right? We don't have to though. I think that since you're playing Rakan and they're in your jungle, there is a way to screw them over, right? What else? If they're camping, what did we say is a good strategy?
Just push something.
Right. Push and apply pressure, right? So what happens if you push mid?
Then they have to come out and match you.
And they will engage, right? How do they engage? Yeah. Pantheon and Aurelion Sol. What was our counter to Pantheon and Aurelion Sol?
Knock up.
Right, exactly. You're going to aim Pantheon and Aurelion Sol specifically, right? Those are the guys you're going to hit. And then Zaya's going to ult, Pantheon stun or whatever. Aurelion Sol hits someone, doesn't matter. Tom Kench eats them, right? So you know that you have an answer to their engage. So you can always push mid, right? That would be an example of what you can do besides trying to fight this. But if you really want to fight this, because you say, we're really strong, then what do you have to say to yourself? You have to say they're in every single bush, and I have to be prepared to engage on the first person I see or something like that, right? You have to have a plan, though. If you don't have a plan, something like this is going to happen. And it was actually like really close. Look at this. It was fucking, that was sick. That was so close. But if you play this scenario out 100 times, how many times is it a good outcome?
None.
No, like we have no idea, right? We're not really sure. You know, maybe it'll work sometimes, maybe it won't. But it's part of the consistency issue we talked about earlier, right? Is it has to work every time.
Yeah.
Like if you die without getting enough value, it doesn't matter if you support jungle, mid, whatever. It is really dicey to entrust the rest of the game to your team, right? You can't do anything because you're dead right here, right? So it's kind of like you're fucking this dude's suicided right here. This is Akali, right? nothing you can do to stop that. The only thing we can do is make the situation as best for our team as possible. Okay, he actually got the kill, so it's actually not that bad. But people are dying here for no reason. People are dying. This Varus turned around. Okay, that was really bad. He dead too. And then Zaya is trying to save him. Oh, she's dead too. Oh, this is really awkward now, right? So kind of every decision we make should kind of be no mistake, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Right? It's very clear that the game is not entirely your fault, right? It's almost never going to be entirely your fault, but there's always something you can do to make the situation better for your team, right? There's always something you can do to tip the odds in your favor, pretty much. Like here, what can we do besides trying to what are we trying to do going in this jungle?
I'd assume get vision, but I don't think I did get any.
But what are we getting the vision for, right? Ask yourselves why. Why do we want vision in the bot side jungle?
Just so we can push out. Get some map control.
Oh, okay, so generally speaking, you want map control over areas where there are objectives, right?
Yeah.
Right, so what can you get in the bot side jungle if you have wards? Okay, you can get like 2 camps if they haven't stolen them already, right? Is there anything else you can get?
No.
Right, nothing. There's nothing else. So is there anywhere else you could have gone to use your time better?
Top side.
Right, and why is that?
Baron spawning soon.
Right, so you can dump a bunch of wards up there and you can see everything there, right? Instead of going bot and going mid, right? That would be a better alternative, for example. And then if you wanted to save bot, you can't save bot. There's no way to save bot. So we would say the best consistent option is go Baron, right? Go to Baron, or be in a bush nearby a Kali so you can help this, right? We're like so far away we can't help this. So we were kind of like not doing anything for 30 seconds, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It sounds bad, but it's like.
I didn't think she was gonna try and fight this just because Soul was.
Yeah, neither did I.
Right now.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell. I don't know how she's sure. That's an Akali thing, I guess. I don't know. They must have missed everything. Look at this shit. Let's watch this. But yeah, like you could have been at Baron, right? And what can you do if you're sitting on Baron and they check? Oh my god, they missed a stun. Yeah, exactly. Like you said, like you show me that you know how to set up picks, right? You fucking put a pink down in the bush, they come out, boom, you kill them, right? You could have been sitting in any of these bushes, and Timo would have to be afraid of your team, right? I don't know why Zaya's here too. Why is Zaya here? Who knows? But you guys could be at Baron now. You could be doing Baron right now, right? Or you could be pressuring Baron too, right? It's pinked and everything as well. Wow, what is this TP? Oh, you guys are going in. Really good engage, right? I have no qualms about your mechanics, right? Maybe that wasn't part of the plan, right? Maybe it's gonna be really close. Oh boy. Maybe it's like, oh, we shouldn't try and engage on Timo, right? Is there anything you could have done besides using ult, right?
Just gone for the knockup.
Right, exactly. Because the charm, you don't need a charm if he's already rooted or whatever. You could just go for a knockup, right? So we're not gonna really. I think your mechanics are fine, right? We don't really need to talk about that. So this fight is kind of gonna be whatever. But you could have, saved your abilities, right? It's basically when in doubt. If you have a doubt in your mind, you should save your abilities for the best possible situation, right? Get the most value you can out of your abilities. In order to ensure you have the best play, like the best play possible, right? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, right? So Timo is kind of not a high priority target. So if you want to insta kill him, you have to be able to say, oh, why can we insta kill him, right? Or basically, if you engage like that, it has to kill him, right? And you shouldn't chase, right? Like what? How did this go wrong? I guess Zaya's just not close enough, right? So we should say, oh, don't engage unless our team can follow up, right? So that's kind of that is that is your job, right? Either you engage or you counter engage, right? Because since you're dead, this guy is just running train on your team. Now look at all that damage, right? What can you do? He's just dead. So yeah, when in doubt, just save your abilities, right? If you didn't know, without a doubt in your mind, this guy's gonna die for free, you should not engage here, in my opinion. So yeah.
Yeah,
Basically, like,
I thought Varus would be able to kill him, but
right. But what does Varus do?
Just pokes.
Exactly. You see, you already know the answer, right? He's like a Xerath. He can only poke. If he wants to all in, how much HP does Teemo have to have, roughly?
Probably like a quarter.
Right. Okay. Yeah. A quarter is very, very well within the bounds. I would agree. A quarter is very accurate. In order for you guys to one-shot him, he needs to be a quarter HP with various cooldowns on, right? Now we're kind of in a situation where we have to fight Baron at a super disadvantage. There's nothing you can do here, right? It's just fucking, this is whatever. So I think it was all the situations beforehand that led up to this Baron. Is what we have to look at. If you engage, it has to be a high value engage, or you have to have more people, right? Going on Teemo is fine if they have like a missing AD carry, for example. Lucian's dead or whatever. Otherwise, you want to save it for better targets, right? Oh my god, what's going on here? Oh my god, he's just fucking going in. Oh no, Akali's killing everyone. Oh my god, this is disgusting. This guy's dead too. He has no mana. Oh, this is awkward. Everyone ran. I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe not. Well, that was interesting. That was interesting.
Yeah, my whole like thought process on going in when Zai was there is like just stop the Baron. But
that's fun. Oh yeah, back here.
Is.
Yeah. The idea is to stop the Baron. You have the right idea, right? But honestly, this is fucking impossible to stop the Baron, I think. it's just how do you stop the Baron, right? They could have stayed on it. Okay, right? Yeah. If they stay on it, what do you guys do?
Then just run away. I can't do anything really.
Zai literally cannot walk up without getting blinded or Tarek stunned or Aurelion Soul queued. And then you go for a knock-up on who?
Probably Sully's the biggest right now, or Lucian.
Right. And then you hit Aurelion Soul. Then they say, oh, we aim Zaya. You can't do anything anyways, right? So you can dance around here. And this is good that you know that you should run away. But and that was a really good knock-up, right? But all the mechanics in the world can't save you guys. So there's just nothing you can do here. So I think you played that as best you could. And you guys did actually stop them. So that was good. But I think it was the stuff beforehand that we should kind of focus on, right? Any questions, by the way?
You say leading up to that, so you mean just going on the Teemo?
Right, going on Teemo, like being in spots where we need to be, right? Using our time to the fullest extent, right? So we've had very clear examples of using time wisely and not wisely, right? So you roaming mid for the Aurelion Soul, that was like that's like a game changer, right? That stuff like that wins the game, I would say. And then you trying to ward up the bot side jungle when there's nothing to do is like wasting time, right? We're basically AFK because we're not doing anything. So it's very clear that you know that you can do it, right? It's very clear that you can get very good value out of your time. It's just that we need to make sure that we do it every time, right? And I think that is like the being specific in how you use your time is probably the best thing you can work on right now, right? Because that can like apply in lane as well, right? How do we best way to use our time and abilities, right? So using our abilities on Aurelion Soul, for example, perfect, right? But using it on Tarek, for example, not, right? So you've already shown me you can do it like 10 times, and you've also shown me that you used it when you shouldn't have, like 10 times. So now that I pointed out to you, I think you can definitely do it every time, right? Is what I'm thinking. Right? You're gonna knock these guys up. Okay, actually, can we knock someone besides Tarek? Knock up someone besides Tarek here.
Yeah, I think. Probably.
Who can we knock up?
Lucian Teemo.
Right. And if you say they're too hard to hit, what do we do?
Don't go for it.
Right. Don't use it. Save it. right? Save it, and they will have to be afraid for the whole fight, right? That's kind of how if you ever watch like Blitz play, right? How scary is it if Blitz never hooks and he's just running around? The whole backline has to be like, what the hell? We can't walk out, right? But if he misses or he uses it on a tank, they don't give a shit anymore. They're like, this guy is useless, right? So if you have a doubt, actually this fight is actually going really poorly now, which is not necessarily your fault, but we could have gotten better value out of our knockup, right? Holy shit, that's really awkward, right? That was sick knockup, right? This is a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier, getting value out of your abilities and your time, right? So out of your abilities, the knockup on Tarek, I would say you don't use unless you're gonna kill him, right? You don't do this unless you're gonna kill him, and it's not clear to me that you can kill him. And then fast forward a bit, this knockup on Timo, this is genius. This fucking you're a con god, right? This is exactly what you need. Every time you knock up someone, they die. Look at this. This is how you can by yourself. You can carry as support, right? Would you say so? Look at that.
Yeah.
You're just like you like it's very obvious to us that you can make these plays. It's just that don't make these plays when it doesn't make sense, right? Like here, right? How do we stop them from engaging?
Just don't go there at all.
Yeah, we can't stop them from engaging. Okay, what can we do instead of doing this?
Just push mid.
Yes, push mid. Perfect, right? So now you know the answers, right? Now you know all the answers. It's just putting it into practice, right? Because the reason why we can't get this is because they're right there, right? How do we stop them? We can't. So I'm actually surprised you get away from this. That's actually insane. And it's actually insane how you get something here. But it wasn't your intent to bait, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you can do this. You can say, oh, you can ping forward and say I'm baiting, right? That's a different story. But you need to have the intent behind your actions, right? If this is like a good outcome, bad outcome, doesn't matter, right? We didn't know what we wanted here. We need to make sure that everything we do is clean in a way, right? This guy could have not noticed. What if he didn't notice, right? It would have been, oh, we just lost heal or something like that. The fact that he's getting all these kills is kind of crazy though. Oh no! Okay, you're good. That Teemo Shroom is gonna kill you. Oh my god, what are they doing? Like, okay, here's a good example. What is this guy doing right here?
Nothing.
He's killing himself, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know what he's doing, right? So, that's like an example of how like most league players play, right? It's just no clue. But we saw him like use his combos efficiently and kill people, right? So he knows how to play the game, but he doesn't know how to do it consistently, right? So if you stay, why do you stay?
Take Baron.
Right, you're here to help. You're here to defend your team, right?
Yeah. Or zone.
Right. So why aren't you using knockup on Baron?
No point.
Exactly. Right. There we go. No point. No value. It has no value. So it's the same as using on a tank in some ways, right? If you use on a tank, it had better be for a very good reason, right? No value means don't use it, right? You just showed me that no value means don't use it by not using it on Baron. So perfect example there, right? Same thing as why like a Nivea doesn't throw a wall on the dragon. Like what does it do, right? It's all the same. It's all the same concept, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So your con mechanics are actually crazy though, by the way. So you definitely have that going for you. Just make sure that you can utilize it exactly how you want, and make sure you know exactly what you want, right? Like here, you can go on this guy. You know that you're gonna kill him, right? Perfect. They're gonna ulti. And they're gonna. Oh, okay. Here's the counter engage. I think it should still be okay, right? Oh boy, actually, this Aurelion Soul is gonna carry if you guys aren't careful. Oh, Kelly, save us! Oh baby. Wait, hold up. Did we use our knockup on something? Okay, yeah, that's awkward. Right, so we know that. Oh, what do we do wrong here?
Missed it on Soul.
It was a nice try. It was really close. I'm not gonna fault you for that, but you had the right idea, right? So that's fine. But yeah, this look in the beginning, this is sick engage. Sure, it may not have worked immediately, but you got a lot of their abilities out, and then team fight won, right? You played a huge part in winning this team fight. Would you say?
Yeah.
Right, I would agree. You played a huge part in winning this team fight. You and Akali carried the shit out of this. And then, oh, push mid. And then, look, you get an inhibitor. Good, good, good. Sure, looking for something now. That's fine. But yeah, it's very clear that we know you can do this stuff. It's just make sure that you're thinking, why when you make sure you know your options for using your time, right? So instead of say, oh, we're gonna find a random kill bot, say we're gonna push and find an advantage since we have a winning matchup, right? Or say they have no sustain, so since I'm Rakan and I have pseudo sustain, we're going to trade and I'm gonna Q and sustain my 80 carry back up, right? We gotta find advantages that are consistent every time. And then if it's like, oh, no value in knocking them up, don't knock them up, right? So this guy's just gonna fucking die because you ulted him, good stuff, and you win the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just super dicey in the early mid game, I would say.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, also I would say don't really worry about lane. Just keep in mind that if you have flash and you can get away from a gank, you want to get ganked, right? To absorb pressure for your team. I think that's like the big thing here. Honestly, I would say don't really worry about lane as much as the other stuff, right? Because you guys outright won at level 1, right? And sure, you guys got camped and whatever, but you guys didn't get camped hard enough for you guys to be useless. So the last few fights, really good, right? But I would say make sure that you know what you're trying to do at any given point, right? So what are you trying to do here? You know you're trying to get this pick off, sitting in this bush with the pink, and then when you show up bot, when there's no dragon up, what are you trying to do, right? I would not recommend this, right? Because you need to control Rift Herald, right? You need to be on the side where the objective is, and you can say, oh, bot tower is up, but so is top tower, right? You need to make sure you're being useful with your time. Is there anything you could have done that isn't showing up here? You could. I'm not like you can make this work, but if Timo knows you're here, he can just back off, right? So if you just hid in this bush the whole time, and Xayah pushes, and then you go into this bush, right? You just never show, right? You don't have a reason to show yourself on the map. Then don't do it, right? You want to show up when you show up, you're doing something important, right? Which is clearing a ward. They aren't reacting fast enough, or you're counter ganking, right? If you showed up top at that time, it would have been like, oh shit, Akali's gonna get all these kills. Basically, when you show up, you got to be doing something with your time. So yeah, this is good that you guys decide to dive after you see them all top. But I would say maybe you want to be topside in the first place, right? Same thing with this mid lane play, right? What are you trying to do in this mid lane play? Oh, get vision around the objective. This is perfect, right? This is 100% good. Can you get it deeper? Maybe, sure, whatever. But the idea is you want to control this side of the map, right? And then, you want your Varus to siege, right? That's the idea. You need to protect him from the engage, which is Pantheon or whatever. If it was Hecarim, then protect him from the Hecarim engage, right? It doesn't matter what it is. You have to save him, right? If you're playing Thresh, you throw a lantern, whatever. But yeah, that's the kind of mindset you should have is what do we want here? And then how do they stop us, right? And then how do I save my team, right? So what do we want? We want to push mid. What do we want to get? Tower damage. How do they stop us? They engage with Pantheon ult. How do I save my team? I'm gonna aim Pantheon specifically and not anyone else, right? That would be how you kind of word it, right? So why are we going bot? No idea, right? That's the kind of unclean parts of this is the part that's holding you back, right? If you had ulted all those guys, the game over, right?
Yeah.
You would have saved mid tower. Xayah got a 12 farm over Lucian and the tower, and you guys can hold mid because Varus is alive, right? You would have won the game if you can do that every time. So this is the part we're missing. This is the part we're missing is like being consistent in what we're doing, right? And I think a big part of that is figuring out what you can do, right? Because I think at the beginning we were like not really sure our options in terms of push and then do something, right? So I would say the first thing you should do is practice figuring out what you can do, right? Push first, do something, right? Push first, do something. And then that would be my first piece of advice to you is figure out what you want to do, right? And then you do that by saying, oh, we push first, right? What happens if you're losing and they push? What is your job then?
Match the push.
You want to wave clear, right?
Yeah.
Or what? Or I should
Or
say and what? What is something they did at their mid tower when you guys pushed?
engage.
Right, look to engage. Right, you're playing Rakan. That's your time. It's your time. You see the enemy Varus with no flash, and he's in range of your Malphite. What do? You fucking whoop this guy's ass, right? You just go engage him. Malphite goes in, super good engage, and then they threw, right. That's what you're looking for specifically is how do I wave clear? How do I engage, right? I don't really know how Rakan wave clears, but you can look to engage, right? Stuff like making the enemy AD carry scared to hit the tower because he's gonna get ulted by you is perfect, right? You're nullifying their advantage. If they push and okay, so say you guys pushed against the Nivea and you try to hit the tower and she ults. You guys wasted all the time you could have been using to get vision or something, right? So that's kind of what we're trying to prevent. So yeah, if you're losing, look to engage, look to wave clear. If you're winning, look to gain an advantage. It doesn't matter what it is. You're gonna hit the tower, you get vision, whatever. Figure out what your best option is and go with that, right? I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, this game was a mess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you found this Aurelian Soul. I don't even know how this happened either. But what's something we could have done here?
Just backed off.
Or is there a better way to get the tower?
Just keep hitting it.
I would say if you had started basing, right? We don't necessarily have to finish it, right? We can base here. Just start basing right now. You say Pantheon has no ult. It's impossible for them to get me in time, so I can base right now, right? Or you could say, or here's another idea. What if you guys push and stay in this bush? What happens?
Might get a pick.
Right, someone's coming to defend this shit. It's probably gonna be Pantheon team or whatever. You guys one shot him, boom, get the tower anyways, right? So there are options. You just know that you have options, and figure out what those options are and pick your favorite, right? Pick the one you think is best, right? It's just the important part is knowing that you have options in the first place, right? These are just some like random ass fights, right? We don't know, like you play this differently. What if turret comes out first, right? Then it's like, oh, we have a problem. So yeah, know your options and pick the best one, right? Pick the one you think is best, and then make sure that when in doubt, hold on to your abilities, push mid, right? Don't get engaged on if you push them. If you cannot push without getting engaged on, don't push, right? So what's an example of that? Maybe they have like an Ornn. Holy shit, that's a great example right now. How have you seen Ornn in your games?
Not much recently, but
is there any better examples? What's like a super annoying champion in your games that you see? Let me see. Do you have anything crazy? Oh yeah, like a Sudrani, I guess. Oh wait, that's your team.
Katarina's pretty annoying.
Oh my god, Katarina, right? Yeah, so your AD carries pushing, gets Katarina, right? So how do you stop that? You hide in the bush next to him and then ulti the Katarina, right? So watch for the engage when you're pushing, right? When you're the person pushing, right? You want to stop their engage. When you're the person getting pushed in, you want to engage, right? That's the kind of rules. These are the kind of basic rules you have in the game when trying to find advantages, right? So yeah, make sure that the first step is make sure that you know what you want at any given time, right? Wait, what happened here? Oh, you're trying to ulti him. Oh, that's close, but I don't think this would have worked because you guys are missing a Kali and Zai or something. I don't know, but you've already shown that you can do all the mechanic stuff, right? So in your games, I would say the first is practice your options is my first piece of advice, which is push first and then go do something, right? It's not your job to push. It's your AD carry mid lane or whatever's job to push, but you wait until they push before you go do something, because that's how you get caught, right? Is if you go do the something while they're pushing. You can't be greedy like that. You have to push first, otherwise you don't know where the enemy is. And the second part is make sure that you hold on to your abilities unless you know for sure it's good, right? Without a doubt in your mind, like that Teemo, like knocking up Tarek, knocking up Teemo, whatever. Make sure that if this is not good enough, I'm gonna save it, right? That's what I want you to think is push first and figure out your options, right? And then pick the best one. And the second is make sure you hold on to your abilities to make sure that for sure there is really good time to use your abilities, right? Don't use it when there's no value in it, like on Baron. Use it when you're gonna kill someone, like on Pantheon, right? And then if when in doubt you don't know what to do and you guys are winning, you push and go do something, right? I think that's the general. That would help you the most in this game, in my opinion, because a lot of the mistakes that we saw came from like not pushing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially like the bot lane here, pretty much everywhere. It was like we didn't push first before we did something, right? And then there's something we can kind of figure out later, but make sure that you focus on pushing first, though, right? The something that we can do involves like being on the side where the objective is, right? And making sure we're warding and stuff like that. But I think the first priority is make sure that you push first before you do something, right? And I think that'll help you the most. What do you think?
Probably. I mean, right now I think like one of the biggest things I need to work on is just like macro play.
Right, I would agree, right? Because your mechanics are really good, right? Especially for Diamond 5. I would say they're really good. Like Diamond 5 players, their issue is like usually not mechanics, right? It's like, they're not doing what the optimal thing they could be doing is, right? Like here, we should be going to Baron. If we cannot defend, if we cannot wave clear or engage, we can't wave clear as Rakan, right? We need to be going to do something, right? Maybe you can engage with Tom Kent or something, but we're not doing either of those things. So we need to be consistent in what we do, right? We need to make sure that we don't waste any time. This is the macro part of it, right? So remember your options. You said it to me earlier. I know you know what they are. They're push, right? Push and ward, push and set up camp in a bush, push and back, push and get the tower damage, push and roam, right? Push and invade, whatever. But you know what those options are. So figure out which option you think is best, right? So the way that'll help you figure it out is look at the enemy champions. Do they have really good engage? Maybe don't hit the tower, right? Do they have really good wave clear? Maybe you can't hit the tower. Maybe you want to dive, right? Stuff like that. So that's how you figure it out. Thoughts? Comments? Concerns?
Um,
Do you think what I said was accurate, or do you think
Yeah.
there's something else you could be working on?
No, I think you're right. Like I think I'm pretty confident when it comes to um my mechanics and micro, but it's just using time efficiently, knowing when to ward, knowing when to clear vision, go to certain objectives, whatnot.
Agreed. Definitely your mechanics are not in question for sure. It's always the decision making, right? So yeah. This is actually kind of an outlier. I would say this is going for the Teemo is a nice try, but no chase is the issue there. But whatever. Yeah, make sure that you're using your time efficiently, right? I think is the big thing here. So the way you improve on that is, remember, every time you want to get an advantage, look to push first, right? Look to push first. I don't think you need to worry about lane or anything like that. From what I saw, lane was mostly fine. Except that if you have no flash, be careful about pushing, right? Why do I say that?
Easy gank.
Yeah, they're just gonna kill you because you can't flash out. Or if they have a very strong combo bot, like Zyra Rakan Elise, you probably don't want to push against that, right? Unless you have an equally strong combo or something like that. So that's like the only lane advice I would give you right now. But for everything outside of lane, this like catch all. It's like an easy fix. It's not something that's like gonna take forever. It can take you like probably less than a week, right? How many games do you play a day?
Probably like on days I really grind, like 6, 7 maybe.
Right. So every time, like in every single game you play, I want you to be thinking this is, I I want to push first. I want to let my team push first before I do something. They're gonna go help me do that something, but I get to decide what it is because you're the support. Support jungle gets to decide that, right? The people who engage get to decide what the team is doing, right? So, oh, we need to go ward. That's your decision, right? We need to go sit in this bush and camp. That's your decision, right? But make sure that your team is pushing first and you figure out what that decision is when they're ready, right? And then the third part of that is make sure you know how they stop you. How does the enemy engage on you? Pantheon ult, whatever. Katarina, right? That shit is so dumb. How do you stop Katarina? You can't stop Katarina. You don't push. You don't go do that something, right? Yeah, that's the thing that I think will help you the most, right? Is figuring out what that something is and making sure that you stick to it, right? Make sure that you do that thing unless something important happens, like enemy misses their ultimate or something. I don't know. But yeah, make sure that you have that in mind in the first place. And then if you ever want to focus on your like micro abilities, your team fighting stuff, don't use your abilities unless you know for sure, right? Don't use it for no value, like knocking up tanks or stuff like that. You can always use it to hit the enemy backline, right? And then on top of that, if like what I said doesn't help, right? What I'm saying like isn't working, what you can always do is do you ever watch other people's replays?
Not that much. I've watched a few on your channel.
So what I do is go on like YouTube and I look up like challenger replays. I'm not sure how many support ones there are, but I remember watching a bunch of wolves and basically by watching what he does and figuring out, oh, why is he doing this? You can learn that way too, right? Yeah, like, oh, learn word placements when I watch Wolf do it, right? Stuff like that. I like the way I learned about, oh, you push and go do something is basically by watching other people's replays. And that's literally what they were doing every game, right? Same with the support, right? And then you kind of learn, once you do this like 1,000 times, you kind of learn which options are better than others, right? So you're like, oh, you play Rakan a bunch, you know you can dive, right? So you know that option is available, right? And then it's like, oh, if you play something like Soraka and you try and dive, and you know it doesn't work, then you say, oh, Soraka doesn't like to dive, right? Something like that, I don't know. But make sure that you internalize what you're trying to do and do it after you push, right? I think that'll help you the most. Is get the lane priority first before you go do something.
Alright.
Yeah. What do you think? Sounds good?
Yeah, I will try and
try that out. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Discord, right? I'm always on. If you ever have like 30-second clips, you're like, what should I do here? I'm always down to answer and stuff. Yeah, but let me know how things are going. I'm always down. I'm always curious to see how you guys are doing. So,
alrighty.
I think there is great. I think you can definitely improve really quick in a short amount of time, right? Like, your mechanics are not holding you back at all, right? It's just literally just decision making. So I think that you can do really well in this aspect of the game. Just like focus on this one piece until it gets better, right? Until you can, until when you watch your replay and you say, oh, every decision I made sense, right? And I always knew what I was doing at any given point in the game. That's what I want you to be able to say once you look at your replays. So let me know how that goes.
Alright.
Alright, man. Good luck. And go to sleep, right? I think it's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
I'll put this up on YouTube. You can always come back and watch this later when you're more awake, right? But yeah, good luck on your games for sure.
Alright, thanks.
Alright, have a good one.
Alright, you too.